I'm here with Coach Keller from Bolton High School, and they did win district this year. This for the first time in 17 years. And I have a few questions just about how COVID-19 is affecting your life and your basketball life. So the first question I want to ask you is, how did you feel when you found out that schools were shutting down and you wouldn't be able to finish the rest of the school year?
At first, I don't think any of us knew how long it was going to be. When they first told us that they were shutting everything down, I think us teachers might have thought it was going to be like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. But nobody could have foresaw that it was going to be, through the entirety of the school year. So once that actually sunk in, I mean, I was a little bit disappointed. I was more disappointed for the seniors than anybody because, they didn't get to go to their graduation ceremony. They didn't get to go to homecoming. Oh, sorry. There you go, buddy. All right. They didn't get to go to their prom, is what I was gonna say. And we didn't get to do our award ceremony that we normally get to do. So that's who I mostly felt bad for. I felt bad for the seniors. They didn't get to finish out their school year.
Okay, yeah. What was your reaction to hearing about COVID-19?
The actual virus itself?
Right.
I probably had the same reaction that just about everybody else had. I didn't really think much about it at first. Even when the actual shutting down the school, stay-at-home order, even when all of those different things came into play, I still didn't necessarily it hadn't sunk in yet. I guess because nobody that I knew personally actually had the virus. And at the very beginning, there was very few numbers up here in this area in central Louisiana. So, but after a while, when it started to sink in how serious it was and you started seeing the number of deaths go up, it started to sink in a little bit more. And, my heart goes out, prayers goes out to the people who are sick and those people who lost their lives and their families. But at first I was kind of not really thinking about it, but as more and more time went on, it became more real to me.
Yeah, it's serious. So has COVID-19 changed your life in any way?
Personally, no. As far as my own health-wise, it hasn't. I think for those people who don't have COVID-19, of course, we can't really do much. We can't go places. You can't go to the stores as far as the mall and things like that. You can't go to the movies. So that's been inconvenient. I almost don't like saying that though, because if it was a person who was sick, it's I'm pretty sure it's super devastating to them. But for those of us who are well, this all just feels like a big inconvenience. So I've been kind of trying to find that line between, taking the necessary precautions and understanding how serious it is, but at the same time, understanding that neither I or my family actually has it. So things are a little bit inconvenient, but, that's just a part of it.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad your family's okay.
Yeah.
So what have you learned from being in quarantine?
That you learn about people's personalities. You learn how they cope with times of anxiety and distress, even within your own family, even those people that you live in close proximity to, as well as even your neighbors that live around you. You get to see how different people deal with these adverse situations in different ways. For me, I don't mind being at home. I'm more of an introvert type person anyway. But other people that I know, they've been kind of going a little stir crazy because they want to get out. They want to go places. They want to kind of, go to the malls and go to the movies, you know, so it's just interesting to see how different people deal with it, you know, based on their different personality types.
That's understandable. So how have you coped with living in a world where COVID-19 exists?
Uh, it it some days have been better than others. Um, I miss not being able to. I'm a basketball coach, so of course, not having NBA, you know, not having the college basketball season, that made me feel very, very, very disappointed because that means you know you don't get to see a sport that you enjoy. But at the same time, I almost feel like maybe this was needed, not from people dying, not that standpoint of it, but to kind of slow everybody down for a second and kind of look at life based on, you know, what your blessings really are. Because we look at something like our health, right? You look at it as that's something you don't really think about until you're in a compromising situation where your health is deteriorating. Then all of a sudden it's like you just wish you would sit back at home hanging out like how you normally do. So it's you just learning how to appreciate the small things in life is what I've been, me personally, especially over like these past couple of days. Because 100% transparency, nobody in my immediate family has it, but I just found out that my dad possibly has it. Um, it hasn't been confirmed that he does have it, but he works at Cabrini Hospital, and he came in. Yeah, he might possibly have it. So prayers out to my dad. It's
Yeah.
kind of caused me to, you know, really appreciate small things like having your health and things like that. And so hopefully this will kind of, when things do go back to normal and life kind of resumes like how it was before, hopefully everybody will come out of this with a greater sense of appreciation. Um, and maybe some of those things that we thought were important before the lockdown took place that we found out really are not. Because it's kind of interesting, you know, what the government labels as essential and non-essential. You know, and there are a lot of non-essential things that we spend our time and money on.
Yeah.
But so hopefully when we come out of this, maybe, you know, we'll learn from, you know, going through, you know, this little situation with this virus.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, and how have you changed your training routine for the upcoming season?
The whole thing got thrown off. I mean, everything was struck. I don't want to give away the blueprint of my success, but the whole structure of everything got thrown off. I mean, the practice schedule got thrown off. The working with the younger players got like I'm not able to do any of that now. You know, so because I had on how the transition is going to occur after this season. Like this upcoming season is going to be a real good season, but Diamond, Shania, Sarika, they're all seniors. So the biggest thing that's hurt me is the fact that I'm not able to invest the time in the younger players that I normally would around this time so that they can be ready to step up when Diamond, Shania, Cedric, and all of them graduate. So that's very disappointing.
I understand
Um,
that is.
but whenever they do allow us to go back in, which they're saying is June the 8th, I just got to pick it up where I left it off at. Lost a lot of training time, though. You okay, man? You okay?
Okay, and what does coaching basketball mean to you?
Uh, it means a lot because Sports are a metaphor of life. If you can push yourself, if you can work hard enough and dedicate yourself to a particular goal, and you can achieve small successes, you could actually see yourself grow to a level that you never would have thought was possible. Like, let's say, for instance, hey, speaking from reality, these girls, Diamond Lubell, Cedrica, Shania, they all came in as freshmen, and they had a lot of potential. But of course, when you're that young, you don't necessarily have a vision for what you can see down the road, because a lot of times young people are so focused on right now. Well, they bought into my vision of, setting a goal of winning a district championship and putting a timeline behind it. And so, incrementally, they kept working, kept being dedicated, and they eventually got to the goal that I believe that they could reach way back when they were freshmen. And so, that's why I say I think sports are a metaphor of life, because I tell them all the time, you worked hard, you stayed dedicated enough to become a champion in basketball. You can take those same principles and you can apply them to other aspects of your life. School, when you get out of school, getting a job, whatever it is that you want to put that philosophy behind, you can. Hard work, dedication, it matters, and it leads to results.
Okay, that's good. So what advice would you give to other coaches, dealing with the effects of COVID-19?
This will be a good time to really kind of brush up on, just your coaching toolbox. Like, this will be the time to look at various type of game plans. This will be the time to make sure that you have, what your philosophy is for your upcoming season. This will be the time to work on stuff like that. I know, like, I don't like saying a whole lot about that, because I don't like giving a lot of coaches, like, they need to figure it out. Like, I know what I'm doing, but I don't want to tell them what I'm doing, because I want them to figure it out for themselves. But no, seriously though, this would be the time for a coach to try to really, get his philosophy together and what he wants to do and the direction that he wants to take his coaching. And hopefully most coaches have that as, part of their mindset and their thinking as a coach, because I know I do. I mean, I'm always thinking about what I can do to improve, what I can do to get better, even if it's something as simple as watching a video on my phone about doing a particular drill before I go to bed at night. Like, I'm always brushing up. So that's another thing that this whole coronavirus quarantine has done too, is giving me the opportunity to really dig into that stuff a little bit more. I was even finding old basketball information I had way back when I was in college, because I was going through like some old books and crates that I had just kind of put up on the shelf. And, so that's what I've been doing. I've been getting into really what the meat of the information that I need in order to direct and lead my team towards, the new goals that we're setting for ourselves. Now that we done got the district championship, now we're trying to get a state championship. And in conjunction with the state championship, I want my girls to get college scholarships.